They had to show their ID cards to confirm that it was their first time buying beginner materials. Otherwise, all materials would be charged at market price. That way, neither Su-bai nor Young-ju would be able to purchase these materials. After confirming their IDs, the cashier received their money and packed the materials for them. She handed over a flyer for Carp Mountain Hall's student recruitment. There's a 20% registration discount this spring. The passing rate to becoming a professional pet tamer is as high as 90%. Once you pass the professional pet tamer assessment, you can directly become an official disciple of the hall and have the opportunity to be recommended for the pet gymnasium. No, thank you. In fact, Su-bai could not afford it even if he wanted to. The fee for the recruitment in that kind of gymnasium was around 5 million yuan, and it was not something a poor student like him could afford. Of course, he did not need it, either. The Carp Mountain Hall was just a low-end doctrine, and he yearned for the world's top gymnasiums with long histories, such as the Fu Yarrow Hall and the Yin and Yang Hall. Now that he had the golden finger skill, such general gymnasiums provided very little help to him. However, gymnasiums like Fu Yarrow Hall, which had a dominant position in the Spirit Alliance, were different. After leaving the material marketplace, Su-bai was about to return home when Young-ju slung an arm around his neck and chuckled. "I'm feeling happy today. I'll buy you a raw monster stone. Do you want to compare luck with me? How about whoever loses gets to treat dinner?" Monster stones were said to be minerals mined from another world and were similar to gambling stones. However, the things inside were all kinds of strange. Various materials, spiritual plants, pets, and even skills could be found inside. Su-bai glanced at the bustling shop opposite. "Since you're buying it, I don't mind going." This kind of thing was only for entertainment, and it was almost impossible to discover a big treasure in such a place. Even if he could see the information, he did not have a chance of obtaining something good. It depended on probability, after all. Then let's do it. European emperors like me love playing this kind of game. Young-ju chuckled and walked ahead. Su-bai rubbed his nose. This guy might have the wrong interpretation of a European emperor. The ones in this hall cost 800 yuan. You can choose whichever you want, and we'll open the stone for free. The worker made an introduction after accepting Young-ju's payment. "Let's choose our own," Young-ju said and went into the hall. Ignoring him, Su-bai looked around and saw that those in the hall had pets and were obviously experienced people who played regularly. Although these raw monster stones were isolated from spiritual power and could not be detected, there must be some sort of regular pattern to this. It could not be perfectly undetectable. As if noticing Su-bai's gaze, several people looked up at him inexplicably, then returned to their respective businesses. Su-bai understood that these people knew he was a student and were feeling scornful inside. They thought that he was wasting money and felt a sense of superiority over him. This was very normal. Old players in a game would feel a sense of superiority in the face of newcomers and would be eager to show off their operations as well. After all, acting like a pretentious prick was a source of joy for mankind. Su-bai remained silent and chose his stone. Turning it over, he realized that there was really nothing good inside. Most of the raw stones had nothing inside. 10 minutes later, after seeing that Young-ju and Su-yu had finished their selection, he picked up the raw stone he had selected moments prior. This stone was about the size of a washbasin, with 8 corners and a bodyful of small black eyes. It looked like a volcanic stone. There was nothing precious in it, just a skill jade. It was a wood element primary skill, Parasite. Although it was only worth 10,000 to 20,000 yuan, it was suitable for the spirit egg he would soon hatch. In fact, there were not many good things in the whole hall, and the values of objects inside were similar. Hence, it was better to find something that suited him. "Young lad, is this the raw monster stone you chose? It must be your first time playing. This kind of raw stone you picked isn't good. The ones with edges are just leftovers and won't contain anything good." An uncle in his 30s who wore glasses finished selecting his things and was unable to suppress the pretentiousness lurking deep in his heart. He eagerly sought the admiration of a newcomer and came over to show off his vision and skills. "It's okay. I was just doing it for fun." Su-bai sounded rather indifferent. He really did not want to be pretentious, So this uncle was doomed to fail by failing to suppress his desire to be a pretentious prick. Come on, he was God's favorite child, so how could he succeed? Yes, not even Gandhi could tear down the wall. Hey! The uncle was very surprised by Subai's indifference. Why was this lad not falling for it? Usually, this kind of newbie would humbly ask for advice when he said this and carefully listen to his pretentious suggestion. Why was this young lad so indifferent? I suggest that you change to another stone. I just saw 2 very good ones, no need, I think there's a treasure inside. Subai rejected the uncle flatly and walked quickly to the other side to open the stone. If you don't listen to an old man's speech, you'll suffer a loss before your eyes. Subai, what do you think is inside mine? I feel like I can easily get a tier 2 warlord treasure. When Subai came over, Yangju's raw stone had already been opened by the cutting machine. I don't know. He shook his head, though he could see that nothing was inside. Old Zhong, do you think there's anything inside? The other onlookers waiting nearby were also discussing this in low voices. There's no need to even cut that stone, nothing is inside it. If there is, I'll drink water upside down. Old Zhong glanced at it. Turning around, Subai saw that this old man was the uncle with glasses who had been pretentious in front of him earlier. After a while, Yangju's stone was opened to reveal nothing inside. There's really nothing inside. Where's my European emperor's luck? Boo-hoo, go away, don't repeat those words and disgust me. Subai glared at his friend, having anticipated this result. He then handed his raw stone to him. See, old Wang? I told you, right? This next stone is also empty. If it's not, I'll drink water upside down and walk home that way as well. The uncle with glasses boasted arrogantly, seemingly going all out with his pretentiousness. Moreover, he was so loud that everyone around could hear him. F***ck. Something came out. As soon as he spoke, someone exclaimed in surprise. When the edge of the raw stone was cut off, a beryl-like mineral fell and exuded a faint fragrance. What the F***ck? The uncle looked up in shock. Something actually came out. But that stone was obviously a scrap. Subai spread his hands. Uncle, didn't you say that you'll drink water upside down? He would not stop him from performing a handstand and drinking water upside down. Subai, yes. I heard you say that you will drink water and go home upside down. I can't wait to see it. Uncle, you can't go back on your words. Exactly. The onlookers were not afraid of blowing the matter up. The bigger, the better in fact. At that moment, even the focus had shifted. Fine. Who can't stand upside down? It was impossible for the fierce man to stop halfway. Drinking water upside down on the streets would give a full performance effect. However, his pet could not stop covering its face and feeling embarrassed. Subai's raw stone had already been cut during the uncle's performance, and the jade that came out was of no surprise to him. As for Su Yu's raw stone, a servant beast bone was drawn, which made him very happy. After all, it was worth 1,000 or 2,000 yuan and was quite suitable to be turned into a dagger. When the 3 of them left, the uncle was still performing a handstand and drinking water, seemingly very happy. Subai suddenly felt like he had been mistaken about something. The original purpose of that uncle was to perform a handstand and drink water, was it not? After all, he looked very skilled as if this was not his first time.